So the other day, I made a post, which is, if this post gets 2,000 likes, I will try Limbus Company. Now, Limbus Company is a game that I've heard nothing but great things about, so I was very interested in trying it. I'd like to try every gacha game in the gacha space. Right now on my radar is Limbus Company, as well as Battle Cats. I want to try both of those very, very, very soon. I also want to give Nikkei another shot. And this post got 3,000 likes, completely shattering everything I was asking for very, very, very quickly. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. The reception from the Limbus Company community themselves was very, very, very good. In case you want to watch me play Limbus Company, or if you don't know what it is, tune into my stream at February 5th at 11 a.m. CST. So here are the community's reaction to me playing Limbus Company. I hate that he's introducing his community to Limbus, but how long do you think it'll take before he rage quits? I give it a tutorial. Really? Somebody stop this madman. The post had to be locked. Don't bring attention to him. That's what he wants. Do not feed the trolls. Even more. Hold up. There's even more. The mods themselves kept threads up so that way people can shit on me, because apparently me playing the game is quote unquote a major concern. Jesus Christ, not this fucking pest again. Someone tell him all the women are above 18 and he'll leave. Somebody stop him. As well as, do not, nuh-uh, God please no, oh God no. I cannot wait to play this game, but I don't really know what it's about. So I wanted to watch a quick intro video to see what this game's all about, and I look forward to playing this on February 5th.
Hey, my Utis correction gang. Limbus Company is a game that is made by the most unhinged company known to man, Project Moon. They're founded in South Korea, like most of your generic romance manhwa. They're known for their other games, such as Lobotomy Corp and Library of Ruina, which are popular amongst the community.
Is this a Gooner game?
They've slowly developed a community of unhinged people, and I'm slowly becoming one of them.
Wait, is the community really that bad for Limbus Company?
This video is mainly made for the people who want to
I'm gonna fit right in
into Limbus Company and the Project Moon universe. However,
I'm gonna fit right
if you
in.
hear my bad takes and correct me throughout this video about how I misexplain everything, you're more than welcome to stay. I'll mainly be talking about the art style, the combat, the gacha system, and the story, but only like a brief summary of the story.
I heard it was a real game first, a gacha game second.
Review video on it, a long one at that.
Which is so disappointing.
By the way, the script for that video is like 5 pages long in a Word document, and I'm still at the prologue trying to explain every detail for why Molar Boatwork Ishmael is the best smelling ID, to why the I used Mariachi St. Clair for the whole of Canto 1.
Okay.
But my rant being out of the way, let's get into Limbus Company.
It looks cool. They got the Honkai Star Rail train there too, man. That's dope. You can get any character you want for free?
This is gonna be a brief summary of the story, since this story actually has so much to it that me explaining in this video won't actually do it justice. You, the player, or the main character of this game, is called Dante, a clock-faced character. You've been adopted
how much
by the
yapping
best dad
happens
of
in this
the year,
game?
Virgulus, who has 13 other kids known as the Sinners. They are Gregor, Rodion, or Rodia, Sinclair, Yisang, Ishmael, Heathcliff, Don Quixote,
Is it good?
Honglu, Ryoshu, Mersault, Utis, my beloved, and Faust. These characters are all based on real-life books, stories, and authors. Dante, based on the infamous book Dante's Inferno, and Don Quixote from, well, Don Quixote. Virgulus has kidnapped all of you people in a bus called Mephi, or Mephistopheles. You are also joined by a driver on the bus called Charon, ironic because Charon is like the god of death that traverses the sea, who has a sense of the direction of a 5-year-old rubbing their face on Markiplier's pecs. Since Virgulus pretty much is the boss of the group, his order is simple. Each canto, or chapters, you will be visiting an area reminiscent for certain sinners to retrieve the Golden Bough. By the way, since I was streaming this game,
so it's like going to each planet to cleanse the
stages of the game don't even know what the Golden Bough still is. So thankfully I don't have to explain it. For example, in Canto 1,
Brian, gonna lie, I got no idea what's happening with the combat there.
So you'll be learning more about himself and following through the gruesomeness of what he went through. I'm not gonna be spoiling anything about it because I want you to experience the story for yourself. I highly recommend just playing the game if you want to experience the story. I might as well give you my thoughts on it, but I think Canto 1 to 3 have been amazing, especially Canto 3 due to
Is this more of a gameplay game or a story game?
I will not spoil. I think Kanto 3 is what sparked me to like make a video on this, considering how like interesting it was and how like well thought out it was. And again, as I said, like I do want to make a long form video on this that's gonna be like probably 10 hours long, but it's like something worth doing because I think like it really deserves it. Like this game, definitely amazing. So yeah, like if you want to learn about the story more, I suggest you play on your own and like give it a shot.
Okay.
The game's art style is not something you see typically in most gacha games, since today's gacha games are mainly just who can make the most oversized tits for their characters.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
In, like a summer event. This game's art style reminds
what's wrong with
a lot
that?
about Darkest Dungeon and the gameplay as well, but we'll get to it later. The game
Okay.
has this very rustic
I fuck
style.
with DD.
The world wars were taking place in the 20th century. Almost like if there was actually a war that took place in the game as well. I know this art style won't be for everyone since you don't see
Am I gonna need to know the date of World War II to play this?
Because most of the character designs are unique. Most enemy
That guy looks
designs are
sick.
pretty generic, I'd say, but it does.
Wait, yo, the in-game actually looks fucking
like it
dope.
belongs in the world. And some areas that you see in the background.
Yeah,
like
that does look like a big
world
battle
built
of Darkest Dungeon. That
really
actually looks
well.
awesome.
The IDs or characters
don't mind that shit at
you'll
all.
be pulling from the gacha system all have their own flair to it and are mainly based on character personality.
And I usually hate chibi
you know,
versions,
makes
but it actually looks really good because
Overall,
it's not
for the art
sexualized.
style, it just hits for me. Like, it
'Cause
just hits on the
sexualized
spot
chibis
for
look
me,
weird
and
as
I'm a big
fuck.
fan of like the rustic style that they have, and the way that each little detail of the world applies to it is just perfect.
She's cute.
Now for the gameplay. Where do I even begin? There's a lot to the core gameplay for the game, such as debuffs, statuses, buffs, but don't panic, I got you covered on this. So what you do is, once you unlock the win rate button, you just keep spamming
What
that a
the
bunch of times.
fuck?
You'll essentially get through every single content that way. That's pretty much the gameplay.
Is it actually?
Every single combat, you can only bring 5 characters, in some cases,
Okay.
6.
Okay.
Each characters have skills that are shown in the sequence here. In normal encounters, like this, you have to chain skills and pick which skill you want to use. You can click the character in combat and see what they do. I recommend just reading on them when you choose which character you want to bring to the battle, because some of them are just
fuck am I
the sizes
looking
of like
at?
5 Yu-Gi-Oh cards combined. Each time you use a skill for the combat, it will
What the
automatically get replaced
fuck?
by another skill that you can see. So it's best to know what you want to use now so that you can play around the next upcoming skill. Now, there is a resonance mechanic.
Wait,
where
people
if you pair up
understand
skills
that?
of the same color, it gives you a bonus of some sort. To be completely honest, it really doesn't do much, so I say just forget about it. By the
Okay.
way, the colors of the skill themselves do matter in some cases, but it really depends on what your character does most of the time. I should mention, when choosing characters you want to play, you should actually place them in a certain order, because this is actually really, really
Bro,
important.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't know who this chick is, but she's just about the cutest thing I've ever seen in my whole life, bro. I hope she's good, man. I think she is so cute.
When you enter battle and you've done your first turn, the character you chose first, which allows like another skill to be used, and that is pretty massive.
Wait, that's a dude? Wait, that's a dude? Wait, okay, no, it is a girl? Okay, thank God. I was about to say, bro, please, God, not again.
For a character that wants to like attack a lot. Now, for how damage is calculated, it is based on coin flips. Yes, even gambling for characters wasn't enough. They legit had to implement gambling to the combat out of all things. So for each skill, they will have a maximum and a minimum damage they can apply. And they will also have a certain amount of coins. Now, when I said the combat is very similar to Darkest Dungeon, I really meant it. It's also very comparable to another game that has been getting popularity recently, known as Fear and Hunger. If you played those games,
I'll be real. If it's like dark and darker and Fear and Hunger, I'm gonna fucking love this game. I mean, I don't really see the similarities in combat at all because that shit is mad simple. But I don't know. We'll see.
before, the combat should be simple enough for you knowing what the coins actually mean and do. For the people who don't know, basically, your damage will be calculated based on how many coins land on heads and if you land on tails. You'll be dealing the bare minimum of damage if you hit all tails. Hitting all heads, you will be doing the max amount of damage. Hitting, let's say, 2/3 of your coins will still damage the enemy, but obviously calculate between the ratio you have. The clash mechanic that you will be experiencing a lot is much more different, however. A clash is triggered usually when both one of your units and an enemy is attacking at the same time. On top of that, it usually tells you which one will be favored. You will either get a favored, neutral, struggling, and other variations. Favored usually means that you will most likely win the clash. The way they do clash is, each time both sides will flip the amount of coins they have. If one side lose their flip, they will lose 1 coin until they have none. Once there is no coins left, the unit who lost will lose their ability to attack, while the winner of the clash gets to deal damage. There is also a sanity measurement.
Sure.
This mechanic is important to keep track of because of the range of sanity you can get. Usually the range varies from -45 to 45 sanity. The higher your sanity, the more heads you will land with your attacks. The way you gain sanity is also simple. Attacking
so it's a
enemies
lose more game?
off
That sounds
enemies will give you
frustrating
even
as
more
fuck.
sanity. Another great tool you have at your disposal is that if you see you're most likely to lose a clash, you can just click on your character and defend yourself.
This game sounds like it's not fucking around.
It's usually different. It's either a defense,
This sounds like a difficult ass game.
This defense mechanic can also give you bonuses sometimes for some characters, and it's pretty beneficial to use. Enemies on their health bar have lines on certain points. Reaching those points causes them to be at a staggered state, which basically means that they will be stunned and won't be able to attack or defend.
I wonder why they made this game a gacha. It really does seem like a standalone RPG.
You your heads, of course. There's also a speed mechanic where characters are rearranged every turn to see who gets to go first. Characters who are placed on the far left are usually most likely to get attacked. The same is true for the enemy side. Another form of combat that appears is focus
makes
encounters.
sense.
Unlike the normal ones that I've shown you throughout the footage, in focus encounters, it's mainly just clashes constantly, and you actually don't gain additional skill slot after each turn. So it's actually just harder in general, and you have to manage your skills properly. Finally, with that comes dungeons. Dungeons usually appear at the end of each canto, usually being an hour or two long, so I suggest being mentally ready. Usually in these, there will be many encounters against enemies along with story dialogue, with you receiving ego gifts, which are permanent buffs throughout the whole dungeon.
There's another game in the same world that's not a gacha game?
There's also encounters with question marks on them that usually forces you to run checks to gain either more ego gifts, items, or buffs to help you out through the dungeon. The game usually tells you which character is more suitable to run these checks. These checks also apply in some cases battles you'll be doing throughout the dungeon, mainly boss checkpoints. With that, yeah, the combat segment is done. I know I talked a lot about it, but I think this is as brief as I can get. If you actually want—
You know what? I'm going to say something that people are probably going to think I'm coping for. I don't think it looks that hard. I think once I'm in the game, I'll get it. I think when you're not in the game, it seems really hard. But I think when I'm in there, I think it'll be fine. I think, because if it's like DD and Fear and Hunger, I got at least like 70 hours in that genre. So I'll probably be fine. But I really, really like the art style, man. You know what's crazy? I like the enemies more than I like how the characters this guy's using, besides this homeboy in the back. The enemies look sick as fuck.
Want to learn what each status and buffs do, there's usually plenty of channels who cover that kind of stuff. I don't personally have any recommendations.
I'm also going to attempt to remain free to play while I play this.
I'd say you find them for yourselves. Even the game itself and the wiki explains.
Because I don't want to cheat and just
so don't be afraid to read
shit
up on them.
Unless there's somebody that's really cool that chat wants to say.
Read up on it and will press win rate to win. It'll get you through the earlier stages, but don't be surprised when you lose eventually.
Get battle pass, it's super worth. We'll see what chat wants me to do.
Now this is what I praise the game for. There is no artifact system in this game.
Great.
None. Zero. They actually managed to make an enjoyable game without prioritizing crit rate and crit damage.
Thank God.
People meme on Project Moon for not knowing how to make gacha games, which is true to some extent, but their lack of understanding actually made this game so much better. So 12 sinners, right? So how do you get more characters? Well, you don't. You gain variations of these characters instead. Earlier I mentioned two specific IDs like Motorboat Org Ishmael and Mariachi
Her name
Sinclair.
is Motorboat and she has
IDs
fat
that these
tits.
characters can get. There's really only 3 rarities in this game. The normal regular IDs that, you know, the default ones.
Super cute.
00 and 000, which is the best you can get. In normal gacha
Yeah, that guy
terms,
looks crazy.
Double zeros are basically 4 stars and triple zeros are 5 stars. These IDs have different skills and mechanics and have to be leveled separately. If level transferring was actually a mechanic in the game, it would just be too easy. However, IDs aren't the only form
Oh,
of
bro,
content
she
you can
looks
get.
sick.
There's also egos that you can get. Another common mechanic that I forgot to add in the combat section. Great, just great. Essentially, egos are ultimates that characters can use for a cost of sanity and affinities. What are affinities? Well, remember how I said the colors of your skills matter? Yeah, now is a good time to talk about it. Each skill gives you a certain amount of affinities of the colored skill you used. These will stay until the end of combat unless you're doing dungeons, which stays till the end of the dungeon. But yeah, egos either
Yo,
do a
Jed,
lot of
how are the
damage,
boss
give you
battles in the
permanent
game?
buffs, or a good utility for your team. Now there's more to the IDs actually. There's a form of ascension in this game called uptie. Usually, a character can be uptied
Good.
to a maximum.
Very hard, hard as
4,
fuck.
Where at uptie 3,
Hard and
they
good?
unlock
Oh,
their
okay, fuck yeah.
quote-unquote final form. And at uptie 4, gaining a huge buff on all their skills. Uptying requires a resource called threads that is either usually obtained from pulling, like from the banner, or from events. You can also buy them from the shop as well by selling character-specific threads that you don't think you'll need. By the way, I personally didn't have any other use for the shop. You can buy other IDs and egos for different types of currency. And that's the extent that I know of it. But please, leave a comment if you know the full use of the shop, and that would be appreciated. Now, what if you pulled for a character but are too poor to level them up? Well, now here's the gacha aspect you all have been waiting for. Enkafelin is essentially this game's resin energy source to get materials for leveling your characters and actually getting different types of threads. Yeah, if you played a singular gacha game in your life, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay.
Enkafelin must be condensed to Enkafelin modules to be used for material farming.
Seems
I
easy.
wouldn't advise ever skipping the battle. Usually playing the game and pressing win rate will do the trick, so you save more resources.
And
to
so
gain
win rate is
more
just auto?
materials. I should also mention that the story nodes will also cost Enkafelin. Usually that won't be a problem in most cases.
Yeah, but
While
I'm assuming, like,
dungeons
if you're
only
new,
consume 1
you'll just be
Enkafelin.
overloaded with
Last
stamina?
thing that I'll be talking about
Like
here
every gacha
is
game?
mirror dungeons. The reason why I'm talking about mirror dungeons here is because I actually haven't tried it yet. But they're essentially like dungeons from the combat segment, just with, you know, shops and more ego gifts. Leveling up ego gifts too, if you want to, and having a boss at the end of each area. In Honkai Star Rail terms, they're essentially the simulated universe.
Okay, sure. Easy. Why is a foot job from Stormbringer? Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is gonna be exciting. The game actually looks quite
that's the end
good.
of the video. Again, if I missed anything really important, please let me know down in the comments, and like the comments of the person that said the important thing. And
Yeah, bro, I'm not gonna lie. That kind of looks awesome. And it only came out in 2023. Okay. Well, then I guess we'll be trying that in 2 days, boys. I feel like I'm gonna enjoy this. If I play for longer than 2 hours, you'll know that I'm liking it. It looks super interesting. I'm also not sponsored for this. I want to make that very clear. Yeah, I guess Limbus Company community. I'm excited to be a part of your little fan base. I heard you guys are retarded and stupid and dumb as fuck, so I think I'll fit right in. I hope everyone's losing their collective mind that this bald white guy is going to be playing their game. See y'all there. Bye-bye.